Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today I'm going to do a review on an insert from Meeple Realty for brass Lancashire, and it's also applicable for both brass games, Birmingham as well. This is called the Brass Factory, and I recently acquired this. I got two of them, one for each game, and we're going to take a look real quick and see what this gives to you for the game. And for those who don't already have brass, this is a look inside the game as it is currently. These are all the player mats, and this is the player board, or the I should say the game board. Then you have your rules, you've got your awesome chips, and you have your components all bagged. You know, now that is not necessarily bad, it's just not as neat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like once you add the Meeple Realty brass insert. And this is what it looks like once assembled. You have all of your individual player components and the game components nicely stored here, and the game can be stored vertically or horizontally. It doesn't matter anymore. Just like you have this great chip container here, you also have now a great component container. And we'll take a look at those. And here's your individual component tray with your iron, your coal, your cotton markets, and your victory point and income markers on the end. Each player will then be given one of these trays. Inside each tray, you have not only the player character, but all of the industry tiles they'll need. For example, you have a lot of cotton mills. So you break them down in sequential order, 1 through 4, and you just pull them right out. And then you can lay them on the board. You can then put them back in the same order, put them inside the tray, put your player marker back in, and pop it back in, and you're good to go. And this is what you get inside the Brass Factory insert from Meeple Realty. It's going to give you a nice little picture that's going to show you what the finished product is going to look like, and it gives you 3 different counter sheets, for lack of a better term, of all the components you need. These are your player trays, and this is the component tray here, and a very easy to follow direction sheet. And it will give you a legend at the top here as far as, you know, what you can follow along with how to orient the sheet of wood here and the components you're going to need to put these all together. Now follow the directions very closely, because these are not difficult to put together, but you can easily miss putting in something ahead of time. Like for example, this 10 and 5. Obviously, if you look at it, you need to put in 5 after, because it's going to lay on top of 10. But if you just decide, oh, I'm going to put these all in, bam, 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 you're going to miss that sequence there, and then you're going to have to pull that out and put that back in. It's not difficult, but it just saves yourself an extra couple minutes of headache, or an extra few seconds. A couple minutes if you do it wrong several times. Now it says here not to glue certain parts, things like that. You know, you can glue these if you want. You can use some wood glue if you choose to do so. I've not really had a problem with too many of these inserts having issues. I've bought several Meeple Realty inserts, and generally they're very snug fits. As a matter of fact, this is my tool of choice for putting them together, because it adds a little bit of extra oomph when you're banging them together. You know, you want to snap them together by hand, it makes it, you know, it's going to work. But to save your fingers and to save yourself the headache and to make sure everything's flush, you get a little hammer and you can put it all together very quickly. This took maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25, probably about 25 minutes to put together. It goes together pretty quick. The first one obviously is going to be a little slower because it's the first time you're doing it. But once you do that, you realize, hey, now I've got the sequence down, and then I've got to build 3 more. You can knock the other 3 out very, very fast. And then this last bit here for the resource tray is very straightforward. The only thing is here, you're going to have to be careful with these parts here, because they're going to be, this one is going to be all on its own. These 2 are going to be supported by end pieces, but this one is going to be all on its own. So that's the only one to be slightly careful with, but it's not very difficult at all. And then it tells you what gets stored in each of the trays at the bottom of the assembly instructions. It tells you everything that you need to place in what order. For Lancashire, you're going to have one blank slot. For Birmingham, all 6 are going to be taken up. It's very straightforward, and then you even get the really cool little Meeple Realty logo that will sit in the middle of your resource tray. And that's everything you get with the Brass Factory. It is a really solid insert, as you saw in my example before. We'll pull it aside. We'll pull the game back over so you can see the game itself. Once everything's set in place, it looks fantastic. It's a nicer presentation, and the most important piece is it makes setup that much easier. And that is key, especially for a game like this where you've got those industry tiles that are, especially when you have a bunch of them like the cotton mills that you have to lay out in order, and you take so much time off of the setup by having everything laid out in a nice order, in a really nice insert. And you can even take these if you want, because I've done this before. It's just wood. You can go ahead and varnish them if you want. You can stain them and varnish them and make them look even a little more classy if you'd like to do that. But that is the Brass Factory insert from Meeple Realty. It is a fantastic insert. It runs for about $18, and Meeple Realty has really shot up on my radar these last several years. I've got several of their inserts, and their quality is top-notch, in my opinion, and I think this is generally my go-to insert guy right here, or guys are Meeple Realty. So if you are looking for an insert for Brass Factory or any other game, go check them out at meeplerealty.com and tell them Mo sent you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.